I think, everybody's got their pluses and their minuses, their strengths and their weaknesses. I believe one of mine has been communication and customer service and working with the client and knowing how to communicate with the client. Sometimes you don't even have to be the best technician with numbers or clickers or dialing it in. It's about finding out what they need, what they want, and making them feel good, right? Making them own it. So we all hear like ego. Ego is your number one killer, right? Ego is not your amigo. So it doesn't matter what you have going on in your life, what you think you know, leave all that in the trunk. Don't have it in the toolbox. Leave it out of the toolbox. And just focus on what they need, right? Because nobody cares about what you know until they know how much you care. They want to know how you're going to help them, how you're going to benefit them. Do you have answers to their problems? If you get on a tangent about everything you know or everything you've done, you're going to lose that connection with them. You just want to ask a bunch of questions, find out what their true need is, and focus on that need and get them to believe in you, knowing that your interest is to help them and solve their problems. Because most people, we say they're only tuned to one station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? The bottom line. A lot of times, be mindful of the energy you project. We're like a stone cast into a calm lake, right? We generate ripples every day. We can't help but generate this energy, but we can focus on the kind of energy we project, right? It always needs to be a positive energy. It doesn't matter, like I say, what's going on at home or how traffic was or whatever. As soon as you get to work or to the track, you need to hit reset and 100% focus on what you're doing and to help the client, because that's what they're there for, and that's what they're paying you for, is to solve their problems. Like we say, sometimes we adjust clickers and adjust them back because we watch the bike works, but they're having some kind of issue. Our job is to address that issue, and it's not the bike. So we help them, right? Is that manipulation? No, it's just help, right? At the end of the day. Focus on your energy every day, everywhere you go, not just work. Ask yourself, when you walk into a room, are you someone that lifts the energy in that room, or are you someone that sucks the energy out of that room, right? Because you don't want people to go, here comes David, here comes that guy again, right? You want to be like, oh, hey, there's Dave, oh, hey, you want to be that guy. You want people to come looking for you, right? And if you practice that every day in life, like do it at the sandwich shop. Come in, lift that energy of that sandwich shop, because half the time they're depressed, they don't want to be there, right? You cheer them up, give them a compliment, you'll get bigger portions, you made everybody's life better, right? You do it in a restaurant, you get better service. It's just, be super mindful of your energy all the time, and they'll just raise every aspect of your life, but let alone your business as well.
You live in Texas, you get showers and dinner.
Correct. Yes. And when you don't have resources when you're at the track, it pays.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Some people leave you the keys to their trailers when they go to straight rhythm, so you can go shower. So it's just simple cause and effect. The problem we have in our industry is with ego is this fine line between cocky and confident, and we have to have confidence in what we do, even as a racer. And there's been very few people who have been able to stay behind that line, Dungy being one of them. And yeah, you can fix that problem, but you can't, they have to own it. So we got to work on our communication. You can't just say, oh, I know this, I know that, I can fix your problem, I worked with this guy, I worked with that guy. They don't care about any of that. It's got to be Ask them the questions. Whenever you're the one asking questions, you're controlling the conversation, right? So as long as you keep asking those questions, you're going to be always in control of the conversation. And the more questions you ask, the more comfortable they're going to be. So you want to ask questions in a way that's going to get the response that you want. So say you want to get them to believe in the shock setting. You know that shock setting works, right? But they're having a bad day, or they're not confident in that setup. Start asking more questions. Get them to visualize your question. So it's more than that. So say, instead of how'd you like that shock, say how did that shock work entering the corner? Did it squat and stay squatted in that rut, or did it unload, step out, stand up? Okay, good. Get them to visualize it, then they'll own it. You got to walk them through the process. Otherwise, they're just going to say it didn't work, and you can't work with that.
Right.
You know, we don't have crystal balls. So you generally want to help them get the answer. Some of them are a pain, but the more questions you ask, you get them to own it. One of the things I like to do is when a client comes in is when you're asking about their riding style, are you more Barsha or more Hurlings, right, for moto? And they say more Hurlings. So you know they strive to be like that. So start talking in a manner where you're like, you would benefit from a setting with more compression or faster rebound or whatever you're thinking at that moment, because that'll help you ride more like Hurlings. So that's what they want, and you're going to help them try to achieve that, and you're imprinting that in their mind. And it's just all psychology. And anytime you can do that, try to find out what they ultimately want and use language that guides them in that direction. It could be the same for you in like a bike prep, right? A guy has a budget and everybody wants the world for the budget, but if you just ask him a bunch of questions and find out exactly what he wants and then put it in a language that directs him more towards that budget, even though he's not getting the whole package, but feels like it, they just leave feeling more comfortable. And if someone's complaining the shock is too soft and you don't think it's too soft, start asking questions. Does it feel too deep in the stroke? Where is it harsh? Is it harsh on the acceleration bumps, the braking bumps? Where's it bottoming? Where do you feel it's too soft? And then redirect it. And then if you can get them to answer the questions, I feel it's too soft just in the jumps. And then help them change their body language and help them see why it's that way to where they own the answer. Because they're not gonna own it until it's their idea, right? So there's a ton of books on that stuff. Google it. Anytime you can deal with communication, language, be mindful with the language you use. A lot of times we get in a hurry and we just want to give them the answer and get them out of our hair, and it doesn't work that way. Even Travis is working on that. That's not one of his strengths. He'll dump that on me, and that's fine. Like, we're here to work together. That's just, I think, how I've mainly competed with, the top dogs all these years is language, communication, and a mindset of a chess mindset. That's been my thing over the last few years, is being more chess mindful rather than checkers, right? You want to think war-like strategy, not, you're going to lose some battles, but to win the war. So you always want to think 10 steps ahead, right? Like if I'm driving from California to New York, what's the first thing I want to do? I want to map out a route, and I want to think of every possible roadblock that I'm going to hit on all 10 of those routes. And then I'm going to find the easiest route, or maybe the route that's going to be, in the long run, overall better, right? The mileage might be the same, the time might be the same, but this one's got a ton of curves and downhills. This one's going to be easier on my vehicle, less wear and tear. But look at all of that ahead. Do that in all of your life, your business, an argument with your spouse or your friend, just think real quick before you speak, 10 avenues this could go right and this could go wrong. And then pick the best one. And if you can play chess like that, even learn chess, it's good. That's one of Donald Trump's major things is chess. If you can do every aspect of your life that way, everything will be better in the long run. Because we talked earlier about planting seeds, right? You can't plant a seed today and expect it to cultivate it tomorrow, right? You have to plant it, you have to maintain it, you have to cultivate it, and then let it grow, and then you can reap from the harvest. So to think that you're going to plant a seed today and reap it tomorrow, it doesn't work that way. Every time you're at the track or dealing with a client, you're planting a seed, and the seeds die before they grow. So you got to make sure that you take care of that seed, water it, let it grow, follow up. Make notes, call them up in a couple days. Hey, if you couldn't help them in whatever situation they called you for, call them up in a couple days. Go, hey, did you ever get that taken care of? I don't have an answer for you, but you need any help with that still? Because the industry being so small, every person has 10 people or 20 people outside of them. And it's 10 times easier to keep a client and cheaper than it is to try to gain a new client. So we always want to go with their best in mind. And you can't win them all over. That's what we talked about before. That's why your reputation is your foundation. If you do everything with the best job possible mindset and only create win-win-win scenarios, which is not just a win-win, you and the client, it's also for the brand, right? It benefits everybody, and you'll always come out ahead that way. So we can help you guys with all that. Anytime you guys want to have a plan or want to do something, we're open-minded. We just to kind of help you strategize. We know how hard it's been, being in solopreneurs for 20-something years. And if you look at the suspension guys that are around you, you don't have to like them. You don't have to like their work, but just try not to bash them. You never know when you're going to need something, right? That's where the chess mindset comes in. You don't want to put yourself as, I'm better than you, I'm bigger than you. We joke all the time. You should see some of the stuff we text each other back and forth about, people. But you wouldn't say that to their face because there's no win there, right? That's checkers. You're going to win that move, but in the long run, it's just going to come back and haunt you.
That's something I'm really proud about, our relationship in the industry. Really all the major players in the suspension game. Dave and I, particularly, because we're in the thick of it in Southern California, are friends with almost everybody that it would be considered our competition, It's like if I need something, I can pick the phone up at 10 o'clock at night and text, whoever, and if I need a part or it's some part for something that's just not even available to the general public, like our reach of resource, because of our relationships, we can get that part by morning time, and whether it's for you guys or for one of the other jobs or for something we're testing, and that it's hugely beneficial for the collective family having those relationships.
Yeah, and it's been good because Travis knows people I don't know, and I know people that Travis don't know. It seems like we kind of have different cliques of people, and now they've all kind of taken major positions in different companies.
Yeah.
So Travis's resources left Pro Circuit, mine moved in.
Yeah.
So there's always that resource, and that's one of the things I wrote out the other day, I didn't bring it because my wife was proofreading it, but with the merger of TBT and all of us, just with with all the years of racing, and everybody we know, there's no reason why we can't get something resolved. It's just a little bit, so we don't want to hesitate to reach out, ever. I think it's going to be a win across the board, and it's good to know, what your guys' goals are and what you want to achieve, so we can help you achieve that. I mean, even, you and you, and you to you, and it's a good feeling at the end of the day to build something bigger than yourself, and just to know how many people you've helped at the end of the day, because you guys wouldn't be in the industry this long if you were just selfish. That's why you're around this table. You wouldn't be part of TBT for sure, but the selfish ones have left.
We're been left.
Yeah, or got kicked out. But they left themselves usually, because they're just selfish, their egos are too big. But we can really collectively put our resources together and build something really, really good. It's more than just the bottom line at your shop. More is not always better. What's your goal? What do you want to make? How do you plan on doing that? And you're going to get some negative response. You're going to get some positive response. Negative, all the feedback's good, and then you could take that information and do with it as you want, right? But it's always good to. Some of the best success seminars could probably be put up by homeless people or unsuccessful people. What have you done to get to this point? And take notes. Don't do that, right? So it's not always the successful people you need to take notes from. It's everything. You're in this position because blank, blank, blank. Like, okay, I don't want to be there, so I'm not going to do that. And there's as we grow, 10, 20 people deep, there's a lot of knowledge there that can be shared. A lot of times we don't want to talk to other people about things that we have in our business or whatever, but when you have a tight-knit group, I think it's a ton of good resources.
Well, and something too, some of you guys have ambivalence about picking the phone up, and don't ever feel like you're bothering David or I. That's what we're here for. Think of us more as a resource, as like your go-to for, like, it's too difficult to do all this stuff on your own. Like, we both did it for years, we know. Like, that's why we work together, because it's a hell of a lot better. David and I, like, I think we talk every single day, like either on the phone or text or whatever, and we're a huge resource for you guys, especially those of you that are just getting into this, or even if you're just want to get to the next level, or depending on what, as we go through goal setting this afternoon, there'll be more things that might appear for you as like, oh, this is one of my hurdle spots, and so it's like, okay, well, I need somebody to help me be accountable, so I can get over this hump, let's say, and by the end of today we'll have some real clarity on those things, and maybe maybe you buddy up with somebody else in the group. Maybe it's not David or I. Maybe you and Terry are like, hey, you see your strength, because a lot of times as we get to know each other, we'll see like who's good at different things. And Gil brings a whole lot of value to the group from his business experience with having 60-some employees up. Oh, do you have a 90 at one point or something? Yeah. I mean, dude, anybody that's ever had 90 employees needs their fucking head checked. Like, right?
Just don't take it personal.
Right, totally.
You just don't.
Yeah,
It's just survive a corporation of that size. I don't care if it's 50, 90, 1,000.
Yeah.
You don't take the day personal.
Yeah.
You get into the day. You do the best you can for the day, and if you did the best you could, no matter what went right or what went wrong, when you lock the door at night, you have to walk away from it and regroup and not sit there and dwell on it, because it will eat you up.
Yep.